We've seen a large influx of people taking up alternative lifestyles over the last decade. The tiny house movement, van life, homesteading, community living, living abroad. These trends were started by people that realized, or always had this knowing, that normal society doesn't work for them. So they decided to reject the norm and explore a different lifestyle that may make them feel more alive, happy, and at peace. They shared their stories online, and those stories blew up and moved the masses. It was romantic, it was sexy, carefree, and a much less expensive alternative to what most people found themselves in. This was appealing, and desperate to escape their current situations, many hopped into these new trending lifestyles. Some found the rougher lifestyles like van life and homesteading too hard, so they returned to their old life, claiming it doesn't work and it wasn't worth the loss of comfort. Others found that moving abroad to a cheaper country was not only worth it, but it was profitable. In droves, they flocked to countries where their dollar was promised to let them live like a king. The rise in work-from-home jobs allowed them to keep their high salaries, and the low cost of living gave them an edge in buying power over the locals. Instead of emulating the initial movement of travelers and trailblazers that explored the world and alternative lifestyles because of their desire for more meaning, deeper connections, and a simpler life, the expats seen an opportunity to be more like the landlords and businessmen that made the lives in their cities so hard. See, they didn't want to break the cycle, they perpetuated it. There wasn't a movement for community and integration. They upheld hierarchy. They made retreats in tribes for those that felt called and aligned in skin tone, country of origin, and tax bracket. They like to call themselves locals, but spend half of the year back home or stay with no plan to integrate into the actual local community in the first place. They're not immigrants, they're expats, a social class made to differentiate themselves from the other. I know this was probably a rough call out for some of you, but this conversation needs to be had. No sugarcoating, no need to be mad. I don't think you're a terrible person, though some people might, but I'm not here to judge. I'm here to talk about how we could move forward in a more conscious and ethical way. See, this system has ran some really deep conditioning on all of us. It's worked more on some than others. But everyone is out here just trying to win the rat race. Many of us are so traumatized by the system that even when we get out of poverty or the need to be in survival mode, we still live and breathe that shit. Like, it is so hard to actually get away from it and take ourselves out of the hustle. Like, we don't even consciously realize that we don't need it anymore, and that's how we create these unconscious cycles, perpetuating it everywhere that we go, just casually infecting our environment around us. And I know you don't actually want to do that. So if you want to change your lifestyle and you don't want to be the extractive expat that I described at the beginning, you want to live a more meaningful life, you want something different, well, then this trauma and this capitalistic mindset needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be consciously worked through and deconditioned from. Coming from heavily populated areas in the US myself, I could say that we do not know how to live healthily in community. A lot of us don't have that closeness or sense of responsibility to our city. Many of us have also had some kind of fucked up home situations, so we could suck at communication and maintaining our relationships. We have this idea that simply changing our environment will change our lives, and as it might change aspects of it, that doesn't usually work. We just perpetuate the same cycles that we find ourselves in, but in a new place. Evolving our mindset, changing our lifestyles, our behaviors, our habits, that's what's actually going to make the difference. And it has to be a conscious decision and a choice that we choose over and over again until it's our new way of life. There are too many people leaving undesirable lives behind and choosing a new location, but they're carrying all their baggage with them, and I don't mean their luggage. So they find themselves in the same behavior patterns, acting out their trauma in the same ways, still living in survival mode, having the same relationship dynamics with both people and their environment, and they energetically infect their new surroundings with these toxic behaviors. And yes, we all have toxic behaviors. You don't need to flinch at that. It's okay, but you have to acknowledge it and accept it if you want to change. It's okay. We all have them. So yeah, this is actually why so many people that up and leave their home life and run away to an eco village or a commune have such a bad time. They don't know how to live closely with people and work through rough patches with others. Or, on the other hand, they don't know how to set boundaries and not put up with toxic behavior. So they say it just doesn't work and that they're all cults and that everyone is out to get you. I'm going to make a full video on this later, by the way, in my upcoming community series, because that is such a common mistake that people fall into. But this thing with the communities is the same thing that is happening when people leave their cities and go to a country where their dollar goes further. By the way, quick note, people hate when you call their country cheap because the people and their land are not commodities. And these people want to roleplay those powers that drove them out of their home in the first place. I want you to imagine this, which you probably don't have to because this is already real life. But you live in a city that became so undesirable because some rich fucks are playing Monopoly with your life, buying up all the properties, building things up to be more expensive when no one asks them to, then turns around and tells you that you need to give them more money that you don't have, by the way, because of it. You're working all the time, you're tired, you feel empty, so you leave. You pick a beautiful country with an actual rich culture, people treat each other like humans, you have the chance to finally breathe and enjoy life. But instead of doing that, you become the rich fuck. You start to copy and paste your old city to your new one. Like, what the fuck? Does that make sense? Like, that's insane, right? Is it just me? Bali, Thailand, Costa Rica, Mexico, Spain, Jamaica, and of course, the list goes on. All of these places are having huge shifts in their food, housing, and land availability. Cost of living is going up because people from these Western countries with more money are buying up all the homes to turn them to Airbnbs and buying up the land to build hotels and retreats. People are telling Mexicans to stop playing their music. There's coffee shops in every corner. Americans expect everyone to speak English. Restaurants have to change their cuisine to fit the foreigners' taste. Like, I could go on. But why does it sound like people are picking to live in a country that they don't actually enjoy any of the culture? How does that make sense? Now, this video is not to tell people that they're not allowed to move countries. I'm an American living in Mexico. That would make me a hypocrite. And obviously, you're going to do whatever you want to do anyways. I just wanted to highlight the issues that are happening because of immigration from Western countries. Like, we have to be conscious about how we move in each other's spaces. Otherwise, we are in for a huge culture loss across the world, and that is already happening. And then no matter where you go, everything's going to be expensive. To make this globalization movement more enjoyable for everybody, I outlined a few steps as immigrants that we could take. So number one, take a look inside and get clear on where it is you are with yourself. Why are you leaving your country? Are you in survival mode? What is it you actually want in life? What are your values? Do you actually want a ton of money, or have you just learned that that's the only way you'll ever be able to get freedom and be stable? What are the traumas and challenges you've faced that has shaped your behaviors and mindset? And there are so many more questions you can ask yourself. This is just to get you started. If you have anything else coming to you, just go off, write this shit down. Number two, once you acknowledge where you're at in your personal journey and what you actually want, then you can start working on your toxic behaviors and healing. You now have the choice to choose a reality you want and to help build a world you want to live in. Rewrite your story and then consciously choose it again and again. Number three, deconditioning. You could start doing it while at home, but in my experience, it really began when I settled into my new home. As an American, it's hard and it's taken me a long ass time. This year, it'll be 2 years outside of the US for me. But that's how big changes go. It's a necessary and worthwhile path. And finally, number four, growth and integration. As you decondition and come back to yourself, connect to your community, your new environment, you will learn a lot and you will be challenged to grow, likely through some really uncomfortable phases, but you'll get past it. Just don't forget to integrate those lessons. Otherwise, you're just going to revert back to the old ones. Learn the customs, the language, the land, the history, and not just the one you might have been taught already. And if you have any steps and input of your own, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. You are in a new country. It is not your old home. If you want that lifestyle, you should probably go back and stay there. Stop looking at all the things that you don't have and try and enjoy the new life and opportunities your new home does give you. Remember to move with respect and have some curiosity for your new chapter of life. We're all just humans trying to make it, but remember that we have way more power than we give ourselves credit for to shape everything around us. So move like it.
Francisco cantando a ver quién se le pone de rival. Yo cantaba dentro del palenque y la gente empezaba a apostar por el gallo de Tomás Valente o el de Francisco, ¿cuál va a quedar?